Hey guys, this is Dave Zamani with Home Life Medical Realty. Today is Thursday, December 22nd, 2016. This is episode 12, week 13th of my shows. Because of a very busy schedule, I decided to do my show today, Thursday, because I won't be able to make it for tomorrow evening. So, like always, we'll go ahead and cover some of the real estate news of this week. So for those of you who don't know, I usually cover real estate news from major Canadian markets, specifically British Columbia and Ontario, being the biggest markets in the country. Lately, BC has been the main topic in the real estate news, and this week is also no exception. So we're going to be covering something from the BC as well. Thousands of BC residents planning BC exit. You would wonder what's a BC exit. So according to a study conducted by Residence Consultancy, more than 4 in 10 homeowners and 7 in 10 renters are planning to move home in the next 5 years in BC. That's a total of 51% of BC residents. That's a big number. Most do not plan to move far though. 3/4 plan to stay in the same city region, while 27%, the single largest group, are intending to leave the province altogether. The study also revealed that housing affordability remains the top concerns of BC residents, and most believe that foreign buyers investors has led to higher prices where they live. So that was what BC exit meant. In that part of the news. Agent to pay back $95,000 to a homeless woman in failed condo deal. And so a lot of you think that, you just close your eyes and, you just select any agents that you walk into without knowing them as in person or on a referral basis. So this news will be of interest to you guys. And now a piece of news for those of you who think all the agents are the same and close your eyes and just go with any agent out there who promises you some money and other rewards of some kinds. If you don't know the agent, then don't risk your biggest lifetime investment, life savings with agents whom you don't know. A Toronto-based real estate agent promised to pay back the $95,000 he borrowed from a woman he was previously searching a tenant for. In mid-2015, Fulcinidi, who was the client of the agent, signed a loan agreement with Ismailovici, who was the agent, that would compel the agent to pay back the $95,000. The condition would require the agent to include a $5,000 cash bonus on top of the repayment, along with a 12% annual return. Not only that, Fulcinidi, the client, didn't get her money back, neither the interest or other bonuses, but due to the debts that she ends up she ended up going to a homeless shelter. After she gets the media involved, Ismailovici, which is the agent, agrees to pay everything to her, starting with $5,000 upfront, and the remaining money was promised to be paid back sometimes in February. The next is Ontario real estate perceptions remain strong. More than half of Ontarians say that the current residential real estate market is favorable. Ontario Real Estate Board's Home Ownership Index shows that 51% say that the housing market in their city or town is stronger now than it was a year ago. It seems that Ontarians are also optimistic about 2017, with 43% saying the market will be stronger in the next year, and a growth in the percentage of respondents saying that they will buy a home in the next 2 years. That's 14% compared to 11% last year. Despite rising house prices in the GTA, buyers remain optimistic. In fact, even more Ontarians than last year say they intend to buy in the future. This speaks to the value of home ownership and the timelessness of this all-important commodity, added Hudak. On the new federal mortgage rules, 79% of first-time home buyers say they will be affected, with almost half saying they will have to save more for the down payment, 34% expecting to opt for a lower cost home, and 22% likely to look in a different city. Mortgage documents take important step towards digitization. So I've been talking about this discussing this with a few of my friends and family over the past probably year or two, where the whole and everything is going towards becoming digitalized, and real estate is no exception. So I was telling everyone that sooner or later real estate will have to go to that direction. So this is the first major step for digitalization of at least some documents that we're handing over to the banks and CMHC, which is they're actually on the verge of digitalizing these documents. Documents relating to the mortgages of millions of Canadians will be split between two companies after a 30-year monopoly and will be digitized. Mortgages backed by CMHC are documented by a third-party provider, Australian-owned firm Computershare Inc., but now mortgage lenders will be able to deposit documents with Canadian-based alternative CST Trust Company. So for those of you who don't know, people who pay less than 20% will have mortgages backed by CMHC. Anyone who pays more than 20%, they don't deal with CMHC. The firm, which has offices in Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, and Montreal, was given approval earlier this year to be in National Housing Act mortgage-backed securities, custodian and title custodian. It will now also create a digital registry of Canadian mortgages, which will track beneficial ownership of every mortgage from origination through a sales to investors and subsequent securitization. This will provide issuers, originators, and investors with easily searchable on-demand access to specific asset information whenever they need it. It is also an important step in making the mortgage origination process more streamlined. CST is poised to reinvest the process of mortgage custody in Canada, using proprietary technology to create efficiencies in a market that has long been bogged down by paperwork and manual processes, said Mr. Turzansky, Senior Vice President at CST. Our goal is to move beyond the physical document storage system that currently exists and advance the market towards an e-signature model. Issuers, originators, and investors alike will benefit from increased efficiency and reduced risk. CST says it already has a top 3 Canadian bank and mortgage securitization signed up for this. This is for the news, guys. Next, I'll be covering some tips for the sellers. So as my shows go, first part of my shows usually cover the news and real estate, and the second part usually gives some tips to the sellers or buyers, investors, and anyone who's out there looking for properties and real estate. So in the second and my 10th episodes of Real Estate Corner shows, I've covered some points from my seller's package for sellers. They were the following: choosing a realtor, what to expect, getting to know you, setting the price, holding successful open house. And in the 10th episode of my show, I've covered 2 major tips, which was maintenance of your home, little improvement, which equals to big returns. In this episode 12 of the Real Estate Corner, I'll be covering the following 2 topics for the sellers from my seller's package. These 2 topics are actually good for the buyers too, because it talks about the relationship between you as a buyer or a seller and your real estate agent, whoever you choose that real estate agent to be. So the first topic would be real estate relationships, and the second topic that I'm going to be covering today would be types of agency. So the first one, which is real estate relationships, all realtors have to discuss the nature of their relationship with all parties with whom the deal is in regards of real estate transaction. This is often called as agency disclosure. There's a big difference between services provided and duties owed to a client and customer, and it needs to be clarified by the real estate agent to you, whether you're a seller or a buyer. Definitions. Agent. An agent is a real estate salesperson, brokers, and realtors acting as agents when conducting business. An agent has been commonly defined as any person who represents another person in a business transaction. Fiduciary duties. A person of trust and confidence who must put the interest of another person, the client, above all others. Client. Who is a client? Often referred to as the principal, a client is a person who asks an agent to act on his or her behalf during the purchase, sale, exchange, or rental of a property or business. An agent owes their client full fiduciary loyalties such as loyalty, confidentiality, accountability, duty of care, obedience, unlawful instructions, and full disclosure of all pertinent facts. So an agent has to disclose all these things and pretty much make sure that the client's interest is above everything else. Another option that a buyer or seller has is a customer option. Any relationship before a signed agreement is customer relationship. A customer is a person who has not contracted an agent to act on his or her behalf. While a customer does not enjoy the fiduciary duties that we just discussed, which the clients do enjoy, and benefits of client-agent relationships, they are nevertheless entitled to be treated fairly, honestly, and with due care at all times. So, from my personal experience, if you are actually if you have been informed about these two different options, I suggest that any buyer or seller always have to go with the client option because that will be to the best of your interest, and it will give an agent a peace of mind that you will not be leaving them halfway throughout the searching process or sale process and the selling of your house. So they will try their best to work for the best interest of you, whether you're a buyer or a seller. When you become a customer, that means that you're gonna be able to work with many agents, and also at the same time, an agent is not doesn't have to actually provide the fiduciary duties and benefits of client-agency relationship, which is very important in a transaction. So if you're putting all your life saving on the line, it's not something that I, as an agent, would recommend any person out there to choose as an option. So always try to go with a client option to make sure that you have a peace of mind that an agent that you trust will do everything in their power to make sure that you are getting the best deal out there. So that covers pretty much the first part of real estate relationships. The second part is types of agency. An agency relationship is created when a person known as the client asks another person known as the agent to act on their behalf in a business transaction. In a typical real estate transaction, an agency relationship is created when a seller or buyer asks a realtor to be their agent. There are two types of agency relationship. Single agency. When an agent exclusively represents a client's interest in a transaction, it is known as single agency. Agents who represent clients under single agency owes a fiduciary responsibility to the client. They cannot share confidential information with the other party or the other party's agents. Dual agency. In some cases, an agent may represent both buyer and seller in a real estate transaction. Because the dual agent owes the same fiduciary responsibility to both clients, it is often difficult to ensure that everyone's best interests are being protected. Because of this, the written informed consent of all parties is usually required before an agent can represent both. So in dual agency does not have to be only one agent representing two different both buyers and sellers, or two buyers or two sellers, but it is also when two agents from the same brokerage, from the same company, are representing both sides of the transaction. That is also known as dual agency. So that's it for the tips also for the sellers and buyers. I would like to take this opportunity to wish all those who celebrate Hanukkah a happy, joyful, safe, and prosperous Hanukkah this year. It's a celebration of light that begins on the eve of December 24th and goes for 8 days. Like any other holiday, it's all about getting together with family, friends, and have lots of great foods. Happy Hanukkah, Chag Urim Semich. Also, Merry Christmas to all those who celebrated this year as well. Wish you a merry, happy, and safe Christmas along with your family and friends. Some consider the miracle that both Hanukkah and Christmas fall on the same night this year. It's a very rare occasion, but it does fall on the same night this year. Have fun, guys, and enjoy it. And this is it for this episode 12, week 13 of the Real Estate Corner. If you like the info I've given you, please like and share this video with your family and friends, and go ahead and like my Facebook page as well. If you have any questions, write them down below in the comment section, or shoot me a message, or you can even call me to discuss. I'm gonna be also putting my the link to my YouTube videos down in the comment section. Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel as well, and you will be informed with the latest news on my YouTube as well. My Facebook page is Dave Zamani, Real Estate Agent. Have a great and safe weekend. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and see you guys next week. Cheers.